Hey, Boyd. It is Thursday, Earth Day, and this is like our 750th episode of Turn Rows to Revenue. How you doing today, man?
I am great. A little chilly here, but happy birthday to Mother Earth. Hopefully, you'll get
Abs-
out and plant some trees today.
Uh, Tell us about the new highs in the market every single day. How's things looking your way, man?
Yeah, the markets continue to march higher. We came in early this week and have made new contract highs pretty much every day in corn and beans. The wheat is back up to the top end of the range, and we got some cotton well off the lows. New crop is up again this morning, trading 84. So, we're back to within striking distance of those old highs here, probably within the next few weeks if the inflation trade and money printing and dry weather in Brazil continues. So, markets are looking strong. Don't really know what's going to step in and slow them down here in the short run. The funds continue to pile in alongside of corn and beans. I think I saw an estimate yesterday that was like a new record fund long in corn was about 480,000 contracts. I think the old record was like 415, 420. So we're well above that on the estimates anyway. The spreads continue to strengthen as basis continues to be hot, and the commercial seems to have a hard time finding some old crop supplies here in both corn and beans. So yeah, March is higher. I don't see, like I said, much that's going to slow us down here in the short run. So it's a good time to kind of kick back and watch, in my opinion.
Man, I hear you. You read the news and talking about the second crop of corn coming in Brazil, and there's really nothing there that just signals for a slowdown in this whatsoever. Um,
No, there's
One
really.
of the things, go ahead.
I was just going to say that the forecast there is pretty dry and hot for the next 2 weeks. Maybe some rains moving in after that, but a lot of folks are starting to come off their estimates on that crop. I mean, it's still going to be, over 100 million metric tons most likely. But when you started at 110 and you go to 102, that's 8 million metric tons. That's 320 million bushels of corn that may not be there for somebody
That's
to
right.
buy. We had export sales this morning, pretty decent in the beans for this time of year. Wheat sales were good, and we had China cancel a couple of old crop boats of corn, but that doesn't seem to be affecting the market here just yet. So not really a huge issue when they've got everything bought that and their import estimate continues to go higher. So doesn't seem to be spooking anybody just yet.
Boyd, one of the things that I was kind of kicking around with a client this week was he just kind of tongue in cheek mentioned to me that, shoot, man, it might be a good time to wildcat some peanuts. And I thought, you know what, that really could be a pretty decent idea. You want to look at I mean, corn prices, bean prices, cotton prices, and wheat is going crazy. Everything is as high as it's been in a minute. And you've got the peanut industry that they were coming out with their contracts, into January, February at 550, 570 at the most, really what I hear. And those are for their
Right.
favorite irrigated customers. The overage on peanuts, in my opinion, is going to be, to the levels it was in, what was that, 2011,
Probably, yeah.
when the world didn't plant a peanut.
Hmm.
I tell you what, man, it's going to be interesting to see how this year shakes out. And to say that, it's Earth Day, and prices are through the roof. We have a new administration in the White House. I think that in the last 20 years, we're really at a pretty crucial point in agriculture with potentially some policy changes. What's it going to do to our market? And I'm really looking for some direction today from the new administration in which way they're going to go with this thing. And I mean, obviously, everything that they've been talking about has been centered around protecting the environment and trying to decrease climate change and all of those things. It'll be interesting to see if we have any kind of signal on how they're going to do the carbon program or really, I mean, a million different things, but
Right.
today should tell us a little bit.
Yeah, I think it was this morning that Biden said he wanted to reduce the carbon output by 50% by 2030,
Right.
which would be a pretty ambitious goal. So yeah, you're probably right. We're going to start to see some ideas being floated out there, I'd say this week for sure.
Yeah, I mean, say you've got 50% reduction in carbon emissions. You've got the 30% of the total acreage in the country being under federal control. I just feel like right now you've got a lot of things that are happening that, I don't want us to get hyper focused on policy, but there's some things that are going on that could ripple into, our land rent,
Right.
our cost of production, and one of these things by itself may not be the um, I guess the straw that breaks the camel's back, but you keep stacking them all together. It'll
Correct.
be kind of interesting just to see how we're looking moving forward. And I say that with it without bias to any party there. No man's going to have a sign in my yard unless the last name's Carroll. But I just don't. I just I don't trust any of
Right.
them
All right.
just to say it. But all of the rhetoric and that's been going around and our far left is so far left and our far right so far right. It just seems like a tug of war that the left's going to win for a minute now.
Right.
And with that, we could see some pretty big policy changes that could affect what we do in the dirt here.
Absolutely.
To say that though, we've also got the Republicans that have proposed 5 bills that I guess they did that at the end of last week. It's really through Governor or Senator Thompson out of Pennsylvania, and he has he's the most tenured senator on the ag committee, and you look at some of those and it's kind of what I'm guessing is a little bit more watered down version of what's to come from the Democrats. So I invite y'all to take a peek at those 5 proposals. But the Sustains Act, precision farming, land and water conservation, the No Emits Act, and the Restore Act, I think is what it is. But those seem to be a little bit. It seems to be just the direction that we're heading, no matter which one of these bills is passed. I think that we've got some pretty big changes and hopefully some opportunities that come from these
Right.
things
Right.
in the next few years here.
Yeah, I think it's important to kind of keep an eye on that stuff and talk to your representatives for sure, because like you say, the carbon one could be huge. But with that, we got to watch what we're giving up and don't get too focused on just the revenue side as well, because they're going to try to probably bury some stuff in those bills that may be not quite as friendly to doing what we've done in the past. So
Right. And I'm not sitting here on a high horse saying that, some changes aren't uh best or that they're
right,
worst. I just think we
right,
need to be paying attention.
correct.
One of the things that I was reading the other day was Bayer put together a program on carbon, and it topped out at $9 per acre. And I think for a big company like that to kind of put a dollar per acre number, it was just telling a little bit for me that if Bayer thinks it's going to be $9 and they're a private company, I mean, I'm sure that's a little bit conservative early,
Right, right,
but $9 an acre, there's going to be some pencil to paper work that goes into that is that $9 an acre in payment worth, is the squeeze worth the juice?
right, right.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Boy, the last thing I need to go over is just the weather, man. It, like you said at the beginning, it got cold just through really the northern to central Alabama,
Yep.
Northern Georgia, where we don't see too many row crops, but then through that center section of Tennessee to eastern Tennessee and North and South Carolina and Virginia. In the southern part of North Carolina and the northern part of South Carolina uh, is really where I have a circle, because we've got a lot of corn that's not just planted, but planted in
Right.
6-8 inches, and it could really be hurt by a heavy frost or some freeze. So if y'all are in any of those spots I just mentioned, make sure before you get out and destroy a crop to replant the rest of it, that call your crop insurance provider, and that the proper documentation has happened before you just
That's right.
go do what's best for the crop. Don't walk away from some money right there too. And honestly, prices are good. I think that it's worth more back in the ground and with a shot at a good yield than it is with a indemnity check that's
Sure.
going to come after harvest. So make sure
Absolutely.
your final plant dates, that everything's lining up, and that you're still good to go to plant. You should be. And I think just make sure that y'all are dotting your i's, crossing your t's, so you don't leave any money on the table.
That's right. Absolutely. Yep. It seems like this year it's going to be one where it may make sense to go back and even replant again to the same crop. Years past with cheap prices, you take that check and go plant something else. But especially in the corn market where we got September corn at 560, it's gonna be some pretty good opportunities out there.
No, man, no doubt, especially when our plant price set substantially lower than that.
That's right.
And you taking 70, 75, even 80% of a lagging yield versus on what guys can do in the field this year at a better price, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say go get it, boys. Make sure that
Absolutely.
you're doing the right thing. Go get it while we can.
Yes, sir.
But Boyd, on my end, man, we're going to be watching to see what comes out of the talking head's mouth today, and make sure that we can translate their gibberish into agonies and make some sense of that thing. And just we're really just going to be paying attention again to the weather. I think we got another
Yep.
cold night tonight, and we'll be praying that just we don't see the effects of that too hard in the fields.
Yeah, market wise, I think we just kind of be patient here as well. We got a lot of weather risk in the South American crop, and then obviously a long growing season in front of us here in the U.S. So I think we'll stay pretty well supported.
Yeah. Well, let's get back to these guys maybe one more time.
Yep.
This week, if there's something to say that comes out today, and if not, then catch up with them Monday.
Sounds great. Thanks, JC.
All right. Thank you, boy. Take care, man.